You.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
When they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Marianne, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Oh man, we be mamboing all over the place, man. I can just see it now. Drunken people stumbling all over the French Quarter, knocking into each other. I always tell people, if you don't like being touched, especially in places where people shouldn't touch you, don't go to Mardi Gras. Don't go on Bourbon Street, especially during Mardi Gras, because the crowds are so thick that just you can't get through them. It's almost an impossibility to get through those crowds without somebody touching something they ain't supposed to be touching. But hey, it's part of the ambiance, I guess you could say. It does get insane, And now that marijuana is legal, you might as well figure even if you don't get high, you're gonna get high. It's kind of like LA, if you're at the wrong place, wrong time, everybody and their mom was out there smoking. So it's definitely different. Back in the day, if you got caught smoking, you spent the night in jail. Now they're like, have a good time.
Right,
we don't care.
The counterculture has become mainstream, and it's part of the. I think it's definitely part of the problem. Although I'm apparently part of the minority, but we'll see.
Waiting. It's always a wait and see kind of thing. I see we have Miss April Solomon down there. Let's see. Should we let her in? Should we keep her down there?
So. I'm anxious to
see. We keep her back and it locked up in the green room, or should we let her out? Let's see. Hey, what you doing, girl?
Hi. Thanks for letting
April.
me up. Good to see you.
So where are you?
I'm currently in Burbank. I'm actually attending a friend's birthday party. So I told her, hey, I'm going to duck out for a little while. I'll be right back. So
it looks like you're in a car.
I am in my car. Yep.
Give him a hug. I love all Aquarians, so give him a hug.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because I just had a birthday. Today's my son's birthday, and mine was 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool. So it's all it's all fun until you get old. It's not so much. No, I'm just kidding. So how you been? Everything's been good. You looking good? How's things? Are life's treating you good?
Thanks. Yeah, life is busy. I have 5 shows lined up for this year already.
That's a good deal.
Where?
So, yeah, and I'm currently taking a social media marketing class right now at my college. So I can learn how to promote my work and myself and get better acquainted about that. Because I know how to paint, but I don't know how to market myself properly.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass too. But hey, once you learn it, and there's lots of things you can learn, shortcuts and stuff. People ask me, well, how come you got so many social media pages? I said, because they work.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of social media haters out there, social media works. Matter of fact, we should be, now that we know TikTok's not going to go anywhere, we'll probably be adding them full time. We just added X back to full time just recently. So, and they all do well. Oh, matter of fact, we even added Rumble. We're on Rumble tonight. We're also on Roku tonight. So you're on television.
Cool.
Yeah, but you're going to find for yourself in April that you need to, I'm like, Joe is like spread all over. He's like buttered all over the.
So you want people to see. I got a lot of hosts.
Like, you've got like April. She's got to, as soon as she starts getting that spread out, because I did the thing when I first started doing the social media for Author Services and Galaxy and Battlefield Earth and Writers of the Future and L. Hubbard. I just got spread so thin.
You got to have people to help you answer this stuff.
Yeah, you need people to help you on stuff, and you can't do one post fits all. Right. So, and that's one thing that I learned, and it's like then to treat your Instagram as compared to X, as compared to Facebook, as compared to TikTok, as compared to YouTube.
Yeah, it's all
they're all different formats and different audiences, and you can't take the same thing and say, okay, this is for everybody. And I tried doing that because I didn't have the wherewithal to do more than that, and it's just it just doesn't work. So,
I cheat though. I got all them hosts. All my hosts, all 35 hosts we have right now, have public access to all of our pages. Everything. Doesn't matter what we're on. Matter of fact, everybody does it. All my pages on all 44 social media pages we own, or public access. Anybody can publish on. And but the hosts go on, so they'll get conversations going, and they'll be jumping from different ones talking, and they've got their own pages, so they're crisscrossing, inviting people back and forth. Yeah, so it makes my life way easier.
Does not.
Yeah, because in the beginning when I first started doing this, just 3 pages. I had 3 personal pages, and then I had the UFO paranormal page, the news and flip side page, and the UFO Undercover, and it was driving me nuts. I didn't even have anything else yet, and it was driving me nuts. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why did I even do this to myself? And now it's way different. And then we do a lot of self-publishing stuff. I mean, not self-publishing, automatic publishing. So like this show will go out to all those venues we just mentioned. As soon as I hit end, it's there. So I don't have to go do anything. It's there. And if I want to add a comment, I can. If I don't want to add a comment, I don't have to. So that's a little bit of cheating, but it works.
Everybody's going to see April's pretty mug as soon as we go.
Well, they're all watching her right now. I mean, and the ones that aren't, get to see channels. Yes. Well, and what's nice, I don't never see you on Facebook, but she crosses my Instagram pages. I see your work on Instagram. I must be on your friends list, and from time to time I see different stuff from you on Instagram. Which is, by the way, she you ought to not hear me say this. She drives dragons as good as Larry does, but I did not say that out loud. I don't want Larry hearing at me. I like that. I don't get no trouble here. So I'll be quiet. That's personal information, people. But she does.
She did the painting that was used on the T-shirt at DragonCon for the blood drive. So what was any feedback or any resultant stuff from that for you?
Oh my gosh. And so first of all, that was just such an amazing opportunity to be of service like that, and to know that my work was going to be printed on 10,000 T-shirts at DragonCon.
Yep.
That was just such an exciting thing to say yes to. And, it was, and I really appreciate you, John, for putting in a good word for me and just letting them know, no, she's good.
It was really hard. I just had to show him your work, and he went, okay, I'm closed. Real hard.
I was so excited
welcome.
to see the shirts printed at DragonCon last year, and I got to feel like a mini celebrity, and people came by my table and asked me to sign their T-shirts, and it was really a lot of fun. So
it's a lot of fun. That's how Tom Wood made his first chunk of money, was when he did that picture for Kmart, and it just took off. I think he said it sold 2 or 3 million copies the first time. What was it? It wasn't the Phoenix yet. What he told me it was. Anyway, it's one of those flaming pictures of something. I can't remember what it was. And he said he was just so surprised that it just took off and sold so many. I mean, that was back, probably in the 70s? No, 80s for him. He's younger than I am, so probably in the 80s. It's like got the black, it's all black and black, and then it's got the fire on top of it going in an image. Now they're everywhere. I mean, I see them all over now, but back then I think it was a thing. It's got to be nice.
Have you had any more shirt commissions or anything like that, or any other things for stores, or has anything evolved from that for you?
Nothing as far as clothing goes, but it did inspire me to start to look into having my own clothing. And I see a lot of artists, they do their own jackets.
Yeah.
They do scarves, pants, and T-shirts. But it got me thinking, I could do this too. And so now I'm looking into that, which is exciting for me.
Yeah. But, you know Brittany Jackson, right? B Jackson. Did you meet her?
Oh yeah. Oh, B. Yeah, no, B's my girl. I love B.
Yeah. She's amazing. And she was on Author's Quill last week or the week before, but she had a whole line of Christmas boxes and gifts and all kinds of stuff that she did for, maybe it was Target. And it was just an amazing thing. It was her artwork, because she does her fantasy girls and fairies and stuff. And it was and she just published her first book.
I saw that
2 weeks ago or so. It went out. Yep. And she's just really doing very, very well. And she's just one of the humblest girls, you would ever want to know. Just amazing. Yeah. She's just so talented. And
I was thinking, you have a large body of work already. I mean, I've been on your site. I mean, you have quite a bit of work, and they have a lot of dragons. So, there's a lot of these companies now where you can take your artwork and put it on anything. You can put it on T-shirts, jackets, hats. I do it for the station. We have it on duckbill hats. We have it on thong. I mean, you name it, it's on it. And you'd be surprised.
You just cut off there really fast.
Yes, because it's the number one. I hate to say it's the number one selling item on the thing. It's a white thong with a purple alien face in the front of it. Don't ask. I have no idea. That and these little green pins we have, they sell more than anything do. But we have it on cups. We have it on shoes, on boots. You can have specialty things done if you want. You can have it put on special ways. I mean, they have the standard way. They just take your image and plop it on there. And then there's other ways you can have it put on, but there's lots of companies that do it. And you just got to watch. Some of them are a little greedy. Like we were doing some T-shirts with this one company, and I realized I hadn't paid attention at first because we had sold a couple hundred T-shirts, and and they sent me a check, and I'm thinking, man, that's kind of low. So we were making $5 off the T-shirts is what we were making. They were making $22 off the t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote them a real friendly letter with some really friendly language and went on to somebody else. But I mean, it's a kind of live and learn kind of experience, but it does work.
There's that show in Las Vegas every year. Dean Wesley Smith talks about, he goes there and he sells the cover, his cover art that he has for all of his books, is he publishes a lot. And so he said that's one of his major sources of income is, I forget what show it is, but artists do really well there because you have your art there and people will buy it to use it for t-shirts, for cups, for different things, and you got such amazing art that you'd be able to do something with that. You've already experienced the reaction just on the t-shirt that you had, but there's companies looking for art to buy. And so if you're there and can show it, if somebody listening to this knows what show I'm talking about, it's a show that's in Las Vegas every year. It's a rights show. It's got a name, but if anybody remembers that, just, type it in there. But it's an annual rights show that you could do really well with that one there with all your art that you've got, because dragons remains a hot thing, as you well know.
And I'm so fortunate that it has come back around, because I've been drawing dragons since I was a child, and so now dragons are popular. I'm like, okay,
they are very popular
for it to come back.
And I'm on your website right now, and I can see several of these that would be fabulous. And this one actually would look good on. I got a big leather.
Can you put it up on the screen so she can walk us through?
I'm gonna bring it up. I was just I got caught away kind of looking at what I was watching. I should say looking. Where is it? It's percent. There we go. Oh Lord, look at a house full of people at Daytona.
Is your hair longer?
I think so.
It definitely looks longer.
Trimmed, but I like it long. I don't know if
I know it looks really good.
Oh, thank
you. You can do that as you were just doing there. You can do the toss, the hair toss,
like Bob Eggleton.
Yeah.
his hair. I mean, he's got me beat in the hair department. His hair is beautiful.
He's got more experience on it, but you can catch it pretty fast.
He really does.
So walk us through the art here.
Sure. So this piece I did, and so originally this was not meant to be a finished painting. The model was a model that I drew while I was taking a figure drawing class at the Laguna College of Art and Design. And the model was this beautiful plush size female, just gorgeous. And so, you have a long time to draw these models on Friday. You have, 20-minute sessions, and the sessions are broken up in between like 5 20-minute sessions, I believe. So I had a long time to study her and draw her and get all the folds and, and so what I like to do, and so usually a model is sitting on top of a chair or a bed or whatever it is. But I said to myself, I am so tired of drawing ugly chairs. I'm just not going to do it. So I thought, I'll just put on a sea serpent. So I drew the sea serpent behind her, and then I thought, okay, well, I should make her a mermaid. So I, gave her the fins, and and her feet were tucked under this bearskin rug that she brought. I couldn't see her feet, so I thought, well, I'll just give her fins. So I gave her fins, and I had the scales, and then I just drew the sea serpent. And then when I was done, I thought, I could put this into a finished painting. So I got photo reference for the sea serpent, and that's a combination of fish and eels and other amphibious creatures, and then
is that her actual hair there?
So her hair is a lot like that. Yeah, it's like this bright red. Yeah, it's beautiful hair.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And I put the light source behind her to try and guide the viewer to look into her face first, and then your eye would travel down her her scales, and then you see the sea serpent, then it travels down and around the coral and the sea life. And
that's clever how you did that, putting on the light there. So yeah, because the first thing I went to was the face. So you did that, was by design, and you did it like that. That was great.
I'm thinking like an illustrator now.
Good, yeah.
It's
so that's because I know when you had as a winter, when you went to the workshop there, you do that one session series of like the drawings, the live drawings. You did like, were they 10, 20 or something like that, or there were some really short and then went to longer?
Yeah, it typically, like the class that I took on Fridays, we start off immediately with 20, but traditionally you would start with like a 2 minute, and then a 5, and then a 10, then a 20, and then you work your way to longer poses.
Got it. So what's this?
So this one I did last year, I believe, or I think the year before. I think it was the year before. And I was inspired by, so one of my favorite artists, her name is Jaw Cooper, and I just love this person to death, and her work is amazing. And I went to her show. I was so inspired, and I came home, and I usually do sketches in my sketchbook and just try and get the ideas out. But I was so inspired. I just came home and I got out this big piece of illustration board and I just started drawing. And I did this drawing with no warm-up sketches or anything. And I did the drawing of a dragon fighting a sea serpent with a wave and the lightning. And so then
they're getting ready to kiss.
Yeah. Right. And engage a passionate rivalry of, yeah. The passion for dominance,
Yeah.
But I ended up making a small sculpture of the dragon and the sea serpent in clay and tinfoil, and I painted it, and then I got photo reference for the painting, because then I could see how the light would reflect and how the shadows would cast. It's a lot to what James Gurney does with his work.
That's what Craig Elliott does too, when he does all of his stuff.
Yeah, Craig Elliott, yep. It just gives you more information, so it's not all in your head, so it looks more believable.
Yeah. I like looking at your work anyway. The more I look, the more I see. It's like the little subtle lightning, the little ship down here. I mean, anywhere I go through it, I'm seeing something. And I love the colors. Echo will tell you I love colors. I don't know what it is. It's some malfunction in my brain or something. But
I love colors.
That's just the thing. I don't know. A couple of friends he said, no, I like the more color, the better, especially if you know what you're doing with it, and you obviously do. Mm-hmm. See, this another one. You could put this on a jacket or on a shirt. But something like this, I would really want it on something bigger than like a cap. I mean, it'd probably look fine on a cap, but you really, want it to be on a shirt or something so you can actually see what you're walking up on. Because a cap, you'd have to take it off and look, well, this is really good looking, but everything would be so small on it. And as old people don't looking at small things. So, we like things that are bigger, easier to see. What's that, Jimmy? Actually, you can go to her website. Anything you have for sales on your website, right?
So I have.
You got a different website for it?
Well, I have two places you can buy work from me. I have my website, which I'm updating right now, and I'm including, prints and books and all the merchandise that I sell at shows.
And that's called?
It's called April Solomon Art.
There you go, guys. Yeah, pretty easy, pretty straightforward there. April Solomon Art. I mean, you should be able to remember that, but I'll include it when we post a link, when we post the show.
Thank you.
So you can find it. It's yes. Well, place?
You said there's two places they can buy your art.
Oh yeah, and so the other place, and so the information I'm going to share. It came from a source that I really rely on, and so Etsy has been known to sell or promote AI art. So I personally really don't, agree with that. And I had a shop on Etsy for many, many years. But this most recent drop of information where they don't care if you're an AI artist or not, I would rather not promote something that's, going to promote the sale of AI art. So
your enemy, the enemy.
It is the enemy.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it is the enemy.
Yeah. So I'm going to move everything to my website, and I'm currently doing that right now. And that's where I'll have all my prints and all my books. And so it's currently in the making, but, still stop by and see all the work that I have. And
that's what we're looking right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a good friend of mine works in the gaming industry, Rhonda Webb. She said that she believes that every AI they use, whether it's for writing, for programming, or for art, should be assigned an artist, a programmer, or an author. She said that way it's getting exactly what you want. Because you can tell a program all you want. It's not going to have the fine detail as the artist will, and the artist can actually show it what it needs to know or what it needs to replicate. So they're thinking it'll make gaming faster and cheaper. But she said that's the only way it can be done. Because if they do it any other way, you're basically cheapening everything down and firing everybody that was worth having. I don't think the industry wants to go there because people, these games are getting high end now. People want to really experience things. And, I was watching my son play not too long ago. One of his games. I was like, Jesus Christ, these things have come a long ways from Pong, man. And don't get me wrong, I like the game. I just don't have the time anymore. It's just,
I had all those old Nintendo games growing up. And so I'm very privileged and proud to say, I had a Nintendo, I had a Game Boy and a Sega, and I've seen how far it's come, and it's so cool. It's Pong, like you said, it's a whole other world.
Yeah, I remember my first Sony PlayStation I bought for my son. I ended up using it to play Pebble Beach for like 2 years. I was like, damn, that's just wasted 2 years gone right there playing Pebble Beach. That's just like, come on, man. There's a lot of good games out there. There is, people. And I know, all the fancy dancy game we got to do, but pretty much now it's just Sony and Xbox. I know there's a couple of companies trying to get back into it, but and see all this kind of artwork, they can use stuff like this. This is stuff they would love to have in backdrops or in sculptures or even converted into characters. This would make a great character in some strange world somewhere. And there's a lot of sci-fi. People like their sci-fi. There's a lot of it out there. And there's God knows how many movies there are about dragons and stuff. Jesus. I don't even know if you could count them today. And, I grew up on all that stuff. I mean, it was just,
me too.
It seemed like every month there was a new dragon movie coming out. I was like, well, look at this, man. This is really cool. Every now and then you got some, some not so cool ones like them. I don't know what they were animated. I don't know how they did it. It was like animatronic. But they were like in the Sinbad movies and stuff. They moved real funny and stuff. It was just hilariously funny. But so you already sound like you're going to have yourself busy this year.
Very busy. Yeah, I have the shows I've got coming up are WonderCon, that's in Anaheim, and then I have the Sawdust Festival, which is in Laguna Beach, and that's a 2-month-long art show.
Damn.
And then I have Masterpalooza, DragonCon, hopefully.
DragonCon.
You never know if you're going to get in or not. You submit your application in February and you just wait.
Well, I'm going because I got to go see my sister before she kills me. So, but
Well, if you have any problem, just let me or Emily know so we can also assist.
Yeah, and they're good people over there. I mean, all the ones I've met so far are really good people over there. So it's just they're really popular. They're gonna have to add another hotel, I think. And
right, because they have 5 hotels now, don't they?
Yeah, it's 5 hotels in the convention center, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, that's freaking huge. Pretty soon they're going to be the biggest one there is. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I don't like about Dragon Con is there's a lot of walking up and down hills. I'm kind of come on, people. A lot of walking.
It's good because that makes it easier for me to indulge in the food and stuff like that, and then I can then counter that with lots of exercise.
Yeah, well, there's lots of walking there. There's no doubt about that. I tell people all the time, you going? Be prepared to walk. Matter of fact, I even told a couple friends of mine, I said, y'all a little out of shape. You might want to start walking now. Go walk a mile a day until you get up to about 3 miles, and you might be okay. He said, well, I said, well, the last time I was there, I said, according to my phone, the first day I was there, I walked about 5.5 miles. The last 2 I was there, I walked almost double that. Wow. It's like, yeah, well, and you're going all over the place. And then I was Ubering I was staying at the Hilton, so I was Ubering down from there to DragonCon, which is like $2 or something. I kind of felt sorry for the guy. And plus, they'd pick you up anywhere with a GPS. So you could be anywhere and they just stop and get you, which was really a convenient thing. But then I got like, Joe, it's only like 1.5 miles. Just walk your fat ass down there. I was like, yeah, I guess so. So I did, so going down was fine because you're going downhill. Coming back, of course, you're going up, and you're already tired by that point. There's a lot of good food in there.
They're late nights because it doesn't stop for 24 hours for 5 days. There's something going on at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It's one hell of a show.
And that's the crazy part.
What's going on for me at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. is sleeping.
Yeah, I don't. I'll stay up till 3 max. That's my, if something really exciting is going on and I'm with a group of friends I haven't seen in a while, and I'll stay up till like 3's my cap, and then it's like, okay, I got to go to bed at some point because I have to be at my booth the next day.
Right. And you want to be good, doing good. You want to be able to engage everybody who's going to talk to you. So
exactly.
I want to be responsible.
I can go about 48 hours without sleep. About 48 hours before I get loopy.
I can't do it anymore. I used to, for a while when I was your age, April, I used to do, for a job I had, it was very time intensive, and I was 3 days a week, every week, no sleep. And so I just do that straight. I'd sleep Monday night, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I just stay up straight away. Then I'd sleep again Friday night.
Wow.
And
that's hardcore, John.
I did that several months. But now if it gets past 1 o'clock, unless I'm actually doing stuff like trying to arrive into New York, like I did last Sunday, where I finally made it to the hotel at 3:30. There I'm just, I'm fine as long as I'm doing something. If I'm just sitting down, or if I'm just, if the randomness around me starts to die down, I die with it, so, I'll power down. But otherwise, if I got things happening, I'm good. But then it doesn't change the morning start time. So I still have to get up like at 7:30.
That's what the bitch part is. You still got to get up in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I can go 4 hours sleep, pretty much function pretty good all day long. I mean, I never sleep more than 6 anyway, but it's, I just, sometimes I'll like last night I was up till 5 a.m. and then I woke up at 10. And today's a long day for me because I was doing radio stuff and I got this show and then I get an hour off and then I got the chat. And then, which is of course insane and takes a lot of energy. And we'll run that till usually about 10. And then after that, I usually doing some archives till about midnight or 1. And then I got to unwind for at least 2 hours before I can go to sleep. So it just kind of snowballs into a thing. Jeremy Lee, she has a harem. Yes, I don't know, like 11 guys or something. I forgot. I lost count. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. I was just teasing. No, stop. I was just teasing. Jesus, people.
So I'm going to ask April now. So you won, was it 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah,
damn, it didn't feel like that.
She was the winner. And she did this amazing piece of art for Marianne Xenos, her story, but it was so amazing. It was just like, it was great. So what's like for you, having won the Illustrators of the Future. So what was for you, like, what are your memories of that now? Like what you got out of it? And also what's your take on just the fact that Owen Hubbard creates it and just, he endowed the contest and just made it say, it's like, it doesn't stop. He keeps on doing it every year, even though he's long past. Just what's your take on that as a winner now, how that's impacted your career as an artist?
Very good questions. So the first one, how did the week impact me? The workshop was one of the best weeks of my life. And that is the honest truth. And that gala, the evening of the gala, where all the artists gathered and the writers and the red carpet and the giant dragon in front and the awards ceremony and Larry Elmore getting up.
Yeah, your hero.
My award. Yeah, my hero, Larry Elmore, gave me my award. The whole evening was like, it was just one of the best days of my life because I just got to feel so much love and appreciation from everyone, and to spend a week with your fellow artists and your fellow writers, and and to meet artists that I've admired as my heroes for many, many years, and to
had you met Bob Eggleton before? Had you met Bob Eggleton before?
No, and I've known his work since I was like 6.
Yeah,
like same thing with Larry. I grew up with their artwork, and so when they said that Bob and Larry was going to be there, I was I was trying so hard to not fangirl out too hard and scare them away because I was so excited, and I loved meeting everyone, and you and Joe and everyone there was just so accommodating and helpful, and you know, and I still know that to this day I can call any one of you if I ever need advice or support, or, you know, just it's like, yeah, I'm a winner, and that feels amazing. But what I also got in return is not just to say I was a winner, but I have this amazing community of art directors and professional artists and my fellow winners that I can reach out to anytime. And to have that support is amazing. And I have the award in my studio, just right there, and I can see it every time I go in there. And the second question was about the contest itself.
Yeah, about the legacy of L. Ron Hubbard and creating that and making sure it's there.
I think it's amazing. You know, I'm not, you know, and I'm not a Scientologist. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I mean, I don't even think that matters. I think what matters is that the fact that he set aside money and a legacy for writers and artists to find a way to build a career, and it, you know, like that's really what matters. And I think that's really special and really important that he cared so much.
Yeah. Good. And then just how's that impacted? Did it help? Has it opened up stuff for you or made things available? I'm just, because we have a lot of people listening to this show right now that are artists. So, because I want people to enter the contest. It's free to enter, and it's it can be an amazing start to a career. And minimally, it'll introduce you to a family of fellow artists that are there to support you.
I think what is good for anyone out there who's thinking about, you know, entering this contest, you just do it. Just do it, because, you know, if you win or not, the point is that you tried, and you can continue to, you know, resubmit every quarter. From what I remember is if you don't win, you can still submit again.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember there was a writer that got up on stage and shared about how he submitted his writing piece for like 6 years. A long time, but he finally won, and you know, and he was up there sharing that in his speech, and we were all so happy for him.
Yeah.
But I think the importance of putting your work out there and letting people know that you exist and you're passionate about what you do, submitting your work to an award, to a contest as this one, it was one of the most wonderful decisions I ever made. And I never would have found out about you guys had I not gone to Dragon Con and had Kim, amazing Kim, as my neighbor. And she was running the contest and promoting it. And she said to me, hey, you should submit. I think you might win. And, you know, and I've been, you know, thankfully I've surrounded myself with a lot of really positive people in my life who have continued to encourage me to, even if you're not going to win, or, you know, you just try. You know, the biggest regret you could have in your entire career is that you didn't try. It's better to have tried and, you know, not win than to have never tried at all. And this contest was just another really wonderful way for me to feel more confident about myself, to get my work out there and to meet people like you, and, you know, just whatever it takes to promote your work, and whatever it takes to show people how passionate you are and how much it means to you. People will vibe off of that, and you're going to attract an audience that loves your work, because, you know, we attract, you know, our own tribe.
Yeah.
So,
now, one thing, what you talking about there, just enter. I know some people, artists, I've seen a little bit more than authors, but it's blind judge. So that all the judges ever see is just a number in your art. So if you're concerned that you're not good enough, nobody's going to know your name. So if like, okay, as you keep on getting better, but you need to start getting up and submitting. There's another artist named Craig Elliott, and he did the cover for this year. And he's been the art director for Disney and for Netflix and for somebody else. And he'd been following the contest since the very beginning. He never entered the contest because he didn't think he was good enough.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I've said it to myself. Every artist out there knows exactly what that feels like. You never feel ready. You never feel like, I'm not there, I'm not good enough. But I learned from this book I read, where in the book they talked about you just have to feel 70% ready. And I love that. I love that, because I'll never feel 100% ready. I don't think anyone will. But to interrupt, you said that Craig didn't feel he was ready to.
Yeah. See, when you even enter the contest. So I'm just saying, like, if you're an artist and you're like, oh, this isn't good enough, or you've got your not so good friend who's telling you, okay, maybe you should like hold off a bit, or in any way discouraging you, don't buy into it. I mean, if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. But the worst you're going to get from the contest is an email saying, thank you very much, please submit again. That's the worst that's going to happen. You need the encouragement, and if you don't have anybody at home that's going to give it to you, then the contest is totally willing to do that. And as you get better, you start getting comments and you'll start getting more communication back, and you'll find people that, all the past winners are totally willing to be able to help and invite you into their family, because Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future is one really big family after 41 years. My gosh, and then I love it when I find people like yourself, because you're not getting very far away from me at any given time. I'm tracking your career, what's happening here. So, I'm always hopeful for certain artists and writers, for down the road, for, how they're doing and willingness to help others, and just keeping with the ethic of the contest. Then that's how we get our new judges. That's, I usually at this point now, I don't need to go outside the group, the family, because it's such a big family now, and we have so many talented winners. So, I mean, that's how Nadia Corfor became a judge, Sean Williams, Kevin Anderson, even we had Dave Wolverton, he passed away, and Eric Flint passed away, but we've had several of our judges came on because Brian Hales, he was a past winner. Brittany, she was a past winner, so those are the obvious, because they've experienced themselves what the contest can do for somebody. And I know them, so I know what I'm asking for and what I'm getting into when I say, like, would you like to become a judge? So that's an important thing too, seeing, how people go on. And after a couple of years, you see, as a person really got what it takes, or are they going to be, flakes, in which case that's fine. They can do what they want to, but I'm interested in those guys that are willing to help pay forward to the rest of the, future.
Yeah. And I mean, and why wouldn't you? Because, this contest invests in people, and, it would make sense that the people that, become a part of the contest and win, or people who keep applying, it's like these people are part of the foundation of, what's going to inspire the next generation of artists and writers.
Yeah. And so it's just, I think it's really important, and it's interesting too in society. And like, that's one of the things that what Elvin Hubbard said about the artists, their importance to the future society. It's just like we go into Hollywood and you see the designs that come up that are in the movies, that becomes the next season's shoe or dress or hat or jacket or purse, because they saw it in there. I just, so many times, like right now, you saw what Melania Trump wore for the inauguration. It's like she was totally got amazing accolades for that. Next best thing since Jackie Kennedy.
I was thinking, like, slap me, baby, slap me is what I was thinking.
What's that?
I was thinking, slap me now, baby. I was like, woo, mama.
Yeah,
that's a good look for us.
Awesome, but that's just the artist. An artist created that dress specifically for her, but it was an artist that made that happen, and then a seamstress put it together.
Right.
I still think she looked better when she was in LA dealing with the firefighting stuff, with her little cap on.
She's a class act, but it's just it's an artist that dreams that stuff up, that makes that stuff happen, and you yourself, you always look really good. So, you're also a work of art, just, your mock-up, that you
Speaking, I know last time I told you this, but I met your twin somewhere. It's still weirding me out. It's just I can't remember where it was now. So I walked. I was going to talk because I looked up and said, "Hey, but what the hell are you doing here?" And it was at some convention somewhere where she's wearing a beanie you like the way, and she was. And I don't know, girl. If I was thinking she was your twin, man. It freaked me out a little bit. I was like, damn, was this like a walk-in or something? It still weirds me out. I was like,
yeah.
She's like, who the hell? I said, never mind. You're not who I thought you were. I apologize.
You gave her a big hug and kiss.
I don't know where we were. We was at one of the conventions, and maybe it was Drag. No, it wasn't DragCon, somewhere else. But I just figured she was there, doing what she does, and I was going to say hi, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'm not. It was just a weird thing. Well, it's every now and then you meet somebody like that's a double ganger, but that was just strange. I was like, okay,
yeah,
funny.
I said maybe I forgot what she looked like, and then I seen you online. I was like, no, it still weirds me out, man.
Anyway, that's the important, I think, of the artist, and that's why I think it's so important. And you've got great art, right. And anytime I can do something to, give a helping hand to an artist, it pays back, even if it's not directly to me, just to society, that to have, because there's some like really nasty stuff out there too, and just to be able to have some the aesthetics. Chills.
I mean, what are y'all on winners now? Got to be close to 1,000.
Yeah.
If it's not 1,000, it's got to be. I mean, right there.
Yeah,
it's just 960 or something. It's a lot. No, Gene, we're talking about Writers of the Future. It's how many people have won this contest in the last 40 years. We didn't say 40. We're just saying 40 because this year is still going on. Well,
we're
technically 42
because that's already done. We're almost halfway through year 42 now in the contest.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever thought about having a winners only convention? Like
that would be fun.
All at one time.
You and Joe can put that together, and I'll definitely come.
No, let's do
it, Joe.
I'm calling Emily, man. That's it. I'm getting backup. I'm calling Emily. She's already on you because her and I talked about them 3 blondes you was with over the weekend. So you better watch out. She said, she goes, he's so tired. I said, baby, that's just because he had them 3 blonde girlfriends he took with him. Emily's like, just wait till I see him. I'm going to hurt you. I'm like, no, Emily, it's true, man. Somebody's got to keep him looking good and healthy, running around. No, Jesse, before anybody gets any serious, it's just a joke between John and I and his other half. Yes.
Yes.
The boss. My wife,
absolute goddess.
The boss lady. Yes. We just call her the boss lady. Leave it at that. No, if you look at any of the pictures we have on the website, she's definitely in them. Yeah, there's quite a few of them up there, and just running around in jeans.
You can see she's there quite a bit.
But on the UPRN website, she's on there. She's sometimes she's in jeans, sometimes she's just running around, and then some like this also the gala event shots too. Yeah, you can see April on there. She's all decked out and stuff. It's the gala. Everybody looked good at the gala. Actually, April stood out whether she was in dressed nice or not. She has a presence about herself. I think that's why I remember, because over the what is it now? About 70 people I've met there, 80. It's a handful of them stand out, and you're one of the ones that stand out in my head. That's why when you said 3 years, I was like, damn, it's been that long. Didn't seem like that.
I know.
It's
there you go. Get that little blush going there. Go ahead.
Her and Munchkin, and let's not forget little Munchkin. She stood out too, but all of that.
Best nights of my life. Hands down.
Yeah, but I mean, y'all two were as far as the illustrators go, y'all stood out the most out of anybody there. And then
to be among
yes,
yeah,
the whole evening was magical. Like,
well, tell us about the cover reveal, because that's where you actually met Marianne, right? Or did you already know her before that?
Yeah, that was a very emotional moment for all of us. Like, we were bawling. Like, I look across the room, and all the artists are crying, and the writers.
Everybody's crying.
Everyone's crying, like tears of joy to meet your author for the first time. And then they, and I was watching everyone, look for their art. The writers come in and they have to match up with what illustration goes to their book, because we're meeting these people for the first time. And my author, she couldn't make it, so she was being FaceTimed in, so I got to meet her through the phone, and that was fine. But when she saw the work, we were crying. I hugged the phone because that was the best I could do. And and it was so magical to meet her. And
have you met her actually in person?
Not yet. No, not yet. But it'll happen.
Yeah, crisscross on one of these events somewhere. There's so much stuff going on in the United States now. And hopefully, everybody keeps swearing the economy's going to get better. So maybe we'll see more events get out there, more people spending money. A good friend of mine, he drags me with him because he knows I'm a big oil painting nut. And anytime he goes out shopping, I'm taking you with me. I'm like, why? He said, because I'm like, all right, let's go. And then every time I said, no, it's garbage. He's like, Joe, I said, do you really like it? He's like, yes. I said, well, don't worry about what I'm saying. Just buy it and take it home with you. He said, no, I'm asking you so I don't get in trouble with my wife. Because he knows, because some of the stuff he wants to bring home, he'll definitely get in trouble. Oh, man. But
does Abel paint any stuff that he would like?
Actually, I'm going to send him to a site. I forgot she did oil. And I was down looking at oil. She's really good at it. So it's and him and I both have a thing for oil paintings. All the ones I have are in the front of my house. And the funny part is, as much as I like weird stuff and dragon stuff, and as deep as I get into this stuff on the radio network, all the ones in front of my house are all floral, all of them. Yeah. Some of them are lilies. Some are just. I ran across one. This was such a weird thing. We were shopping for something furniture wise, and Linda kept saying, "Stop here, stop here." So I said, "Used. We ain't buying no used furniture." She said, "No. They might have other stuff I might like." I was like, "Oh, okay, antiques." I said, "All right, we'll go look." And we walking around. And I seen this thing way off in the back, and I pulled it was full of dust, and I shook it. And I looked at it. I said, "Here, look, this looks good. You can hang it on one of the dining room walls or something." And she said, "Yeah, it does." And I said, "How much you want?" She said, $35. I said, "Cool." Got home, cleaned it up. Looked, and I seen there was a signature on it, so I went and looked on the web. It was about $7,000 picture.
A guy named Salvador Dali.
It was beautiful work. I was like, "You got to be kidding me, man." If the guy knew what he'd give me, he'd probably slit his own wrist. It was just, and I mean, we've gotten some good deals.
Watch the show.
Yeah. Do you do commissions, April?
I do, and I'm very particular about the commissions I receive.
I don't blame you.
Commission, it has to be something that I'm really excited to do. And I do portraits on occasion. I've been getting back into portrait painting and portrait drawing lately, and really enjoying that. But it has to be very particular, and I'll do wildlife portraits or fantasy. I actually for a little while was I got a really cool commission to draw. This guy reached out to me and said that he wanted a portrait done of his girlfriend's cat, but as a dragon.
That's fun.
I leaped at this opportunity. I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. And that came together really well, and he was a wonderful client. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, maybe I could get into more of that, like portrait painting, but make them into mystical creatures,
Yeah.
That's
I
always
was thinking that's because your guy there, Joe, if he likes her stuff, that if he learns that she also does commission oil, then that would be also a thing too. But you need to coach her on.
So I'm bringing with me to Dragon Con so we can gang up on Sarah this year. I want my picture. But Sarah just I want to buy this picture, but Sarah won't give me a deal on it. She's like, "You already got one." I said, "No, Sarah, come on.
You're already getting a deal when we sell it. Otherwise,
like,
Sarah, it's $5,000.
I need a better deal, Sarah. I said, "I'm old feeble guy. I'm poor. You gotta give me." She's like, "Whatever." I'm like, "Come on, Sarah." She is hard, man. She's tough to deal with.
She's got a computer that won't let her invoice anything other than what the approved price is.
Yes, and I said, I told her, I said, "Look, I'll mail some stuff off to some of the big bosses. Just give me a deal." She's like, no deals, because the one I really wanted, they don't have anymore. They sold the last one, I think, when I was there.
Yeah, because you waited so long.
Why? You're trying to get me divorced, man.
Seize the opportunity.
April. So when you do work, so one of the things that when B. Jackson called me and said, "Look, I got this offer to do this book," which turned out to be Parker Looks Up, which became a New York Times bestseller with Michelle Obama, with the little girl looking at the big painting of Michelle Obama at the National Art Gallery.
You might get thrown off the internet for that. That's a curse word.
What?
Michelle Obama.
Anyway, so she was concerned how much to ask for. Continue. I'll pretend I didn't hear anything just then. So it was
edit that out.
So she calls, says, I don't know, they offer this contract, they want to do this, and so is this okay? Is this right? And so then we got Echo and Laz got in there too and work out, what's a proper thing to charge for, because some artists are so like caught up like, yeah, I'll take anything. I'll just take some money so I can sell my stuff, that you get taken, and so some of the winners that have gone out are doing really well right now. I just, and some of our judges, they'll say, look at, if I charge this much money, I'm looking at that's being paid $100 an hour. That's not outrageous for someone who's a really established professional. And so we say, oh yeah, well, I'll do this, but I'm going to charge $10,000 and something like that. And some people go like, oh my God, that's insane. Are you crazy? And others that are legitimate clients will go, okay, and it's they just take it for, like they understand what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like with some of Joe's friends, unlike Joe, are qualified. They've got money, and they don't just don't talk shit. They actually do it.
They spend a lot of money. Those no good bastards. It's
you know what? But Joe,
you ought to see about. So since you do the Dragons, you should really try to get New Orleans to let you do their Mardi Gras posters one year. I mean, they sell so many of them things, and they're not. They're not. I'll have to find out who's doing it right now. But I know in the past they haven't really used super famous illustrators or artists. The guy Larry Hatch, he did a series of the angels, the devils and angels. They sold, I forgot how many. I mean, the oils. Matter of fact, I got one of his oils for $750 a guy. He said, "Man," I said, "Look at this old, dusty, cracky looking dude. Come on, you can't ask no more." So I sold that painting for a lot of money. We didn't even say how much on air, but it's that was a great thing. But anyway, he does the ones where like there'll be a girl standing there on one side, there'll be the devil, one side there'll be the angel, or he'll do stuff like that. But he's gone now. But he did, I think, 8 or 10 years worth of them. Man, some years they sell 5, 10, 15 million of those posters.
Wow.
And even on a bad year, they're going to sell 2 million because there's going to be no less than that many people coming to the city. Yeah. And then a lot of businesses buy them to give them away because they'll buy like make a smaller version. So they'll buy those to give them away. This is a lot of money. And I tell people all the time, I said, y'all should, it's a phone call probably. The city's always looking for good artists.
Well, if you can introduce that'd be great because you know the quality of her work.
I'll ask, Dryas might know. You know who might know my boy over at, now I forgot the name of the restaurant now. God, I've been knowing this guy for like 30 years too.
Anyway, when they pick her art and do that, then you can strut around as the cock of the walk. They're saying, yeah, well,
I wish. I wish somebody from... well, I wish somebody we knew would get it because it's a fabulous gig, and plus, everybody gets to see your work that comes down here from Mardi Gras, and it goes up on the posters, it goes up on paintings, it goes up on them little, whatever you call them, little things they give out. It goes shit. They give them in roll ups. They can throw them off the parade, off the floats.
Yeah.
They just go everywhere. It's insane how many people get it. And New Orleans is going to have between 2 and 5 million people down for Mardi Gras, so that's a lot of exposure. That could make somebody's career. It's I used to know the guy dead, but he's probably dead now. But I'm gonna ask my boy over at Dryades if he knows. He knows all that stuff. He always inviting me over to the balls. Let's go to this ball. Let's go to that ball. I'm like, dude, you can't go in the bar unless you get drunk, right? He's like, yeah, I know, it's like a rule. I'm not kidding you. It's like a rule. If you're walking around sober, they think you're like a spy or something, or working for the press or something. I'm not kidding, but they get weird about that stuff. The guy said, you haven't had a drink all night? I said, yes, I've had 2. He's like, so I've been watching you. I said, why have you been watching me? He's like, I've just, we keep an eye on people who could be press or something. I'm like, I said, I am press, but I'm not press for y'all. I'm just here to, hang out with all my friends and eat.
You can still have a drink.
Yeah, well, I have it unusually high.
310 right now, and I know she's out
she's
now.
She's
good to be able to see Marianne a little bit before she
Marianne is already in the queue. She's just waiting to be brought up.
Are you going to ask me who my favorite illustrator is tonight?
Oh,
Who's your favorite illustrator, Marianne?
April Solomon. Absolutely. I brought my book with me. I wish I could get April to sign it. So, but you know that she illustrated my story.
It was a huge honor.
Oh, it was the best.
Unbelief.
Yes. Hi, Joe. Hi, John. Nice to see you
Hi,
too.
Marianne.
Hey, Marianne, how you doing?
Good.
I know I have a copy of that book somewhere.
Well, you can borrow mine.
There it is. There it is. Well, no, I'm going to try to get a better image up on the camera while we're talking.
Because I want to tell you the story, too, about how I got to meet April at the...
Well, we're all ears. Go ahead. Right ahead.
So I have some health conditions that kept me from traveling, and I couldn't go to the big gala. I couldn't go to the unveiling of the illustrations. So Nina Kariki Hoffman Zoomed me in on her phone. And that night she carried me around as a tiny little icon, like on her phone. There's my picture. Yes. I felt like I had one. It was my birthday and Christmas all rolled into one when I saw this image. I think that writers, you see something in your head, you make things up. It's just something in your imagination. And then to know that another person could imagine what you were imagining and bring it into the world, I think is one of the most amazing things that can happen. Yes. And that book the cover is gorgeous. The whole book is wonderful. But when I saw my character Aveen and Tan, the dragon, that's his name. Like when I saw them, it wasn't exactly the way I saw them. It was different. But now I always see the character the way April drew her.
Oh my gosh.
And anyway, so here I am on Nina's phone, and she carried me around, and she introduced me to April, and I got to see the unveiling. I got to see, meet other people. And then Nina introduced me to Nancy Kress, and I've read at one point all of Nancy. All the judges are all people whose books I've read. So it was very exciting. So I go to meet Nancy Kress, and I wondered why she was looking at me funny. And then I realized I was a tiny person inside a phone, like saying, "Oh, hi, so nice to meet you." And it was actually sort of, comic. So that was delightful, though. That was really fun. I have pictures of me in the phone meeting April, and April held me up on the phone so I could be in the group photos.
Yep, you were in the group photo and you were in my hand.
Yes, and so I know after a while, April just grabbed Nina's phone and carried me around the room. So that was
Let's just go for a walk.
Meet my author. Here's my author. She's been uploaded.
I know.
Sounds like a Doctor Who episode or something.
It is like that. It did feel like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of strange. But it's at least you got the 10. You got to see everybody crying and bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
It's
wonderful.
There's enough. I've seen enough of these now. There's probably enough salt water there to keep the ocean on balance, man. There's a lot of crying going on. Matter of fact, I posted a video. Oh gosh, it might have been y'all's year. It might have been a year before, but I had posted it, and I just it was a little short clip, like 3-4 minutes or something. And somebody writes, "What are they fighting? Why is everybody crying?" Yeah. I'm like. And I thought it was self-evident, but apparently it was not self-evident because that triggered off a whole bunch of people. I'm like, they're crying because they're happy. I said, this is a reveal. I said, these are the artists and these are the authors. They did the artwork for the cover of the book. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, let me show you. I said, I guess I'm going to have to explain this in detail. So I took there's a longer version I had made with everybody talk and everything. So I posted it. It was about 20 minutes long. After that, everybody said, oh, I understand now. I'm like, I hope so. Because you could actually hear everybody talking in that one. The first one you couldn't. It was just. I know.
It's a very different kind of crying, too. It's also, I think, sometimes that you work towards something and then there's this kind of release and you can't help but cry. And I think it's kind of magnificent. And so also, you don't always have an opportunity to meet a whole lot of highly creative people in one room.
That's very true.
And I find that to be sort of exhilarating. And, these are all people who are just creating. And John, thank you so much. Because I feel like also there are people who are sort of like really right there with their craft.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like the judges and also the artists and the writers. Like everybody is just so committed and involved with their craft. And it's not often you get to go to a party like that, you know, that so that's a pretty amazing thing.
Are you traveling now?
I am not traveling yet. I have some issues, and so I'm still sort of isolating. But
Right.
what's interesting about it though is I go to a critique group that's in Eugene, Oregon. That's called Wordos.
I've been there.
Yeah.
But also you all might know about Wordos because for a while Wordos was producing one Writers of the Future winner a year.
Yeah.
Like it's a really very, very good critique group. And I wanted to share something with you.
Sure.
I brought my agates. In Wordos, every time you put a story across the table and it gets published, you get an agate.
Oh, cool.
And I have 8 of them. I'm just showing off my bling. This is my bling, everybody. So I have 8 agates because I brought 8 stories to Wordos and I sold all of them.
Wow.
Wow. Congratulations.
That's awesome. Oh my
So
God.
this was like this was last year and this was my big, like just, it was just very exciting.
That's so
It is exciting.
So anyway, so I do go to Wordos. I go to, I've been in Nina Hoffman's class, although I'm not taking it this semester. And I do some other critique groups. So I'm staying really busy. I'm meeting a lot of writers. I've stayed in touch with a lot of the other writers from Writers of the Future because they're wonderful. So I think that even though for some reasons I've had to isolate a little bit, it hasn't felt all that isolated because there are all these other connections happening.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. So yeah, Nina was a winner in volume 1.
I know. And you know, she was in Wordos at that time. And then other people like Eric Witchy, I know, like he was a longtime Wordos person, and he's somebody who's one of my mentors now. So he's also
one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to know.
He is. And I see him. We do a writing group, like parallel play writing group, and he's in that. So I've gotten to know a few writers who are writing like sort of way beyond, you know, people who I want to write like someday, you know, but people who are really wonderful writers who've been in that group, and that's been really helpful. So
that's great. Yeah,
Nina's a fantastic teacher.
It used to be a thing where they'd even have, like, because Eric Witchy can talk about this. They used to have a board they keep that, you know, once you enter the contest and you'd mark it, you know, so everybody had to enter a story to Writers of the Future every quarter, and that was one of the goals for being a member of Wordos.
Right. And I think that's why they're and also like there is a way that the Wordos type of style of critique, which is like doing character driven stories that, you know, like the sort of the kinds of things that I know Jody Lynn Nye has said that she's looking for in stories.
Yeah.
Wordos is really focused on that. And the story that I won with had gone across the table at Wordos. So people had read it and critiqued it, and I brought it to, and it was the one. Of course, I think I applied to Writers of the Future 5 times, and I was a finalist, and I was a honorary mention twice, and then I won. So
good. That's pretty good.
Right.
So glad
you look so sparky right now. That's great seeing you.
I know. I'm kind of like, oh, Pete. Nice to see all of you too. And it's nice to see you, April. I wanted to tell you about a book. Is that I don't know what.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
That's why it's called Author's Quill. Talk about it. Yeah.
So we talk authors and artists that talk about their stuff. This is a chance to flog your wear.
Good. I'm going to show you 2 books that I have my name on the cover, which, you know, is always like the biggest thrill, except for getting an illustration by April Solomon. It's probably the biggest thrill I can think of as a writer.
Okay, good.
So I was in this one called The Underdog's Rise, which is put out by Underdogs Press. And the editor is this J.R. Martin.
Oh, okay.
He is a Black Texan science fiction writer, ex-military, solid guy. I really like him a lot. And he put out this book called The Underdog's Rise and bought my story, which is about shapeshifters in Boston. So this was lovely. I think he's doing some more with the press. He's going to be doing some independent publishing. I think that, so anyway, this is one that and this one was really cool. This is called Winding Paths, and it's put out by Demagogue Press in Portland, Oregon. The cool thing about this book, well, I'm going to brag, one small brag. The illustration on the cover is from my story, because every story in the book is a game, has a game in it. So we all had to write stories that had a game. My game has my story has a tablet game that's based on this design, which is from the royal game of in Sumeria. So it's 4,000-year-old game. So when they were designing the book, Frances Pye, who's the editor, liked my story a lot. She liked my game, and so she wanted to put it on the cover. But it's a playable game. You can use this as a board. You can use this as a board.
That's cool.
And the game pieces are in the back. Let me see if I can find them. There they are.
Oh, how neat.
Game pieces in the back.
That's a great idea.
It is this fantastic idea. And mine's like, my story's actually sort of a romance. There's the game pieces. My story is more of a romance, but there is a game that comes in. And much like the phone, me inhabiting Nina Hoffman's phone, the phones that they're playing the games on get haunted by their ancestors who then interrupt the game. That's what my story is. So, but it was in this wonderful, beautiful book called Winding Paths.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats.
So I wanted to show you those two.
Good stuff. Wow. What are you working on right now?
I just finished a story that I found out that Fantasy Magazine is opening to submissions tomorrow morning. So I've been working on a story that is another one in Florida, because you know that my story from Writers of the Future takes place in Key West.
That's right.
I'll tell you, I didn't tell you, I want to tell you this, that my father lived in Key West because my father was a treasure hunter. And he went to Key West to look for the Etosha, and he worked with Mel Fisher. And so he worked with a machine like a dredge that would bring up the bottom of the silt from the bottom of the ocean, and like pan through it for the gold. And so he worked down there for 3 years and was a little successful, wasn't tremendously successful, but it has a very strong feeling for me because I spent a lot of time with him in the Keys while he was working for Mel Fisher. So, so the story from the Writers of the Future, Volume 39, takes place in Key West. This one takes place a little further up Key, and it's about the tagline. A mermaid walks into a karaoke bar, basically, is what the story is about. So that's but it's sort of
swim into a bar. She walks into a bar.
She does actually walk into the bar. She shifts before she swims up, then she shifts, and then she walks into the bar.
Sandbar.
I like that.
I'm funny.
That's very funny. That's good.
Couldn't resist.
It was good. It was good. So anyway, that one, that's the most recent thing that I'm working on.
I love that.
I could see you actually drawing her. She's I've been looking. She's based on this Syrian goddess named Derketo, or Altagaris, and just the scales are so dragon-like. When you look at like how mermaids are drawn. I want to say I once overheard April say when I was walking around in Nina's phone that once you look at nature, you see dragons everywhere. And meaning, it was a great quote because I was thinking about this thing of fish scales and dragon scales and the way leaves overlap each other. And you start looking at those kind of patterns in nature. you can start seeing these creatures.
Yeah.
But I can see in how you draw that they're so organic looking, that they look so real.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That it's in flowers and leaves, dried leaves, nature, fish, birds. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah.
So it's good.
An exciting story. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, April. So when's WonderCon is what, April?
Yeah, WonderCon is, I don't know if I can pull it up on my phone without Xing out.
I'll look then. I think it's April, but I'll check and see here.
I have my website. If you go on my website, you'll see upcoming shows, and it lists all the titles and the dates where I'll be for what time. But I believe it's, I think it's March. WonderCon is in March or April. They change it every year. But it is on my website. If you go under shows, and you'll see the date.
This is so lame. It's exhibit hall Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What day?
Right.
Okay, here we go. Scroll another place here. So WonderCon 2025, March 28th to 30th.
There we go. Yep. It used to be in early April, and then they just keep changing it every year. It's either late March or early April. They can't make up their mind.
Evidently.
Where is WonderCon?
That's at the Anaheim Convention Center, just down the street from Disneyland. Nice. Yeah, if you ever come here, come see me. We'll go to Disneyland together. Out. I got to meet you at some point. Someday I have to meet you.
We definitely will. I'm positive of that. And that would be an incredible way. I would love it. Also just to be able to go and then see all your work. But Disneyland, that would be. I went to that very Disneyland when I was 6 years old in Anaheim. Yeah, we lived in Anaheim for 3 months and got to go to Disneyland. That was the highlight. So
I went when I was stationed down there. But,
did you?
I went. My problem is I went to Disney World first, so Disneyland was kind of a letdown when I went to go see it.
Really?
It's
I've not been to Disney World.
Oh, Disneyland's about the third of the size of Disney World.
I don't like World. I think it's a cheap imitation of the original one.
Depends what part you're into. What it really is it's Disneyland is in Disney World. The exact Disneyland is actually in Disney World, and then there's all the rest of Disney World. That's how it's done. You just got to know where to look for it. That's the way they did it. When they originally built it, they just copied the first park. And then Florida said, well, that's not near enough. We have too many visitors for something that's small. And then they just started, and Epcot got down there. And then now, every time there's a famous movie, they just add a section to the park with that movie in it. They just keep doing it. Wow. So, you could literally just go around spending days going to just different famous movie sets than anything else. The only reason I like it is because they have a big harbor that you can rent a boat and go boating in. It's something you can't do in Disneyland. So we go out and rent those little jet boats and go hauling all over the place. That was a lot of fun. I'm not as big a fan of the rides as I am, but the food's pretty good and the rides are pretty decent. And then, they got Little Paris, they got New Orleans, they got New York. It's all little things tucked into Disney World. And then of course, and then it's kind of weird. It's actually too much for a normal person. And a lot of it is what I would call cheap copies of things. Disney cheaped out on some things. They went good on some stuff, but they cheaped out on other stuff. It's no telling why. It might have been different people running the company at the time. There's no real way of knowing what the difference is. I did get to spend a night in the hotel. Well, it's not the hotel. The rooms they have. One of the rooms they have inside the place. It was in what's her name's castle. It was a cool little room. If I was a princess, it would have been a little cooler room. It had all kind of stuff in it, man. It came with all kind of features. And I only got that because a friend of mine who was one of the strip managers was a good friend of mine. So he said, where are you staying? I said, I haven't checked in yet. I was getting ready to go stay at the hotel inside of Disney World. He said, well, let me put you up here 2 nights and I'll get you a room over there. You can go stay over there when you're done. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. It's like, okay. Because, they have a guy comes and picks you up to bring you for breakfast, or you can have breakfast brought to the room. They come around, they cater you, and they actually give you a cart to ride around Disneyland, Disney World. And it was weird. It was kind of fun. But
when I first went when I was 6 years old, it was 1963. So it was the only Disney World in the world.
Yes, there's only one.
It was like, so you can imagine,
Disneyland at that point. Yeah.
I mean, Disneyland, it was completely Disneyland.
Yeah. And at that point, the Matterhorn was like a really cool ride as the roller coaster. It was the big roller coaster, which now is like, it's a nothing burger, but it's just kind of like, at that point, it was like, wow. And then the people
everything
mover
was wow.
The people mover was like high tech type stuff that you'd have these walkways that people just stand on. It moves you along there. It's like, I mean, this was, like you said, early 60s. And
right. And, and at that point, of course, I was 6 years old. We thought everything was real. I mean, when I met Cinderella, and when I met Mickey Mouse, it was like, oh my God, it was
I'm sure kids still have the same reality as you did back then.
Yeah.
And then the one that really stood up for me it was called America the Beautiful. And it was a round hall, and they had the plane that was taking it had 360 degrees cameras going, so it was a full 360 degree view of where it was going. So it had all these different, the monuments, the best places to see in the United States. And so you're standing up there's the handrails, and it's going along, and all of a sudden it makes a turn, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, because it would go around there, because everywhere you look, then it's just everything goes in relation to that and to the turn of the plane. But that was so cool there, because it showed, you had Mount Rushmore, you had the Grand Canyon, you had Washington, D.C., and all these amazing places. But it was called America the Beautiful. And there was lots of cool stuff. And there was the jungle ride, the one that you're going down in the river, and they had the safari, and there comes the hippopotamus would come out, and the tour guy would bring out his pistol with a blank in it and shoot the rhino, and you go back down again, and they jerk around, it's like it was going to hit you. And Pirates of the Caribbean was, or something pirate, and you go.
It was a
on
good
the
pirate
ground.
one, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
That was really cool.
But now everything is so so high tech and stuff. It makes those earlier rides are not nearly as. I mean, you had to have a lot more imagination back then than you do now, which is I do like things that require that you use your imagination, not the other person's.
Yeah, some of them Disney World rides, you just think you're in a movie. That's all.
Yeah,
it's all that's just too much in there.
Yeah,
but these days the only way I'm getting if I'm going is if one of the kids talk me into, which is highly unlikely. So I'm like, no, too bad. And since my son's already in his 30s, that ain't gonna happen anyway. So he said, oh, well, you can afford to go. You got a job. Take your ass down there and go. I can't go to Disney World without spending like last time we only spent $10,000. And
$10,000.
Yeah, and this was over 12, 14 years ago. I can only imagine what it would cost us today. I mean, it was outrageous. No, it was. Don't get me wrong. It was 5 of us, but still, that was it was
5 people for $10,000. That's crazy.
So it was just like I said, damn man, I could have went on a real vacation for this.
Whereas I can imagine in '66 when we all went, it couldn't have been '66. It had to be '63. When was Kennedy assassinated? It was
63. Yeah, September
63. We went like a month afterwards. It was right about a month after Kennedy was assassinated. My parents took me to Disney World. So that was an intense fall and winter for us.
No, I miss a lot of the old stuff. It was in a lot of ways it was more fun. And there still are some parks in the country, not many you can go to. I mean, Astroworld just pretty much became just another Disneyland or Disney World or something in between. There used to be 2 or 3 of them down here, but they've all closed. Just not enough interest in them. I kind of miss them, but I just soon go sit on a boat somewhere too. So I'm easily pleased. Or and I got a beach in my backyard, so I can always go do that if I get too bored. It's definitely, the country's definitely changed a lot. In a lot of ways, our country's changed an enormous amount, but yet in a lot of ways, it hasn't changed at all. It's kind of strange to watch it.
Yeah.
All I care about is that I get to make more money. That's all I'm interested in. Everybody else can go have fun, do what they want to do. I just want. Matter of fact, that's what we designed this show for. Not for us to make money, but for people to be able to sell stuff. We were looking for places on the network where, like, with people with specific gifts, like illustrators or authors, could sell stuff, because A lot of the other shows, it's going to be too hard unless it's topic orientated. They're not buying a book. If you talk about paranormal or religion or news or something like that, that's what they're focused on. They're not really looking. And you might get lucky and sell some, but for the most part, no. But on shows like this, it should be easier. As this show becomes more popular, it should be easier.
Yeah.
And
we definitely have with the story that Marianne wrote and that April illustrated. You can definitely get that at you can go to Galaxy Press and get the book. And I'm thinking about, so you can go retro on it, but then to do things for in the future, maybe you can get book plates signed so that when we continue to sell stuff after the initial ones that we release get sold, that we can just put in the type, writing the book plates and paste them in there and continue selling the books.
Because we're actually, the whole Saturday is really being developed, because Echo Chernick's on before us. She's doing the professional and she's doing art all for an hour, and then John's on, of course, before that. And then they got another author show that's supposed to be starting soon. Michelle will keep on telling me. And then there's the Gray Zone that comes on. Then there's the chat that comes on at 7, which is only 5 shows in, is extremely popular. It's already got an audience over 3 million. It's just outrageously, and nobody can know why, because it is a show about absolutely nothing.
The Gray Zone?
It's a show. Yeah, no, not the Gray Zone. The chat is, it's about nothing. So when people ask me, I say, well, it's about nothing and everything. Like tonight, we're going to be talking, all of the JFK documents were released. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. And and it's a show what's really nice about it, it's an open show, which means any of our hosts or any of our previous guests, if they want to join us, all they have to do is stop by and say, hey, can I come in? And we'll send them a link. We have people from other networks going to be joining us tonight. We got people from, we set it up because we needed something that we could just go and talk about random stuff. Because the news on the flip side is great. And we talk about a lot of stuff on there on nights, but it is mostly a news orientated show. It's not so much politics now that, we're through the political season for the most part. That last 18 months was grueling now. It was a tough 18 months. It was a tough political season, and it was a tough, anytime you were talking, people, it didn't matter what you said, somebody was getting mad. It didn't even matter. A lot of times I wouldn't even open my mouth. I'd be like, well, we're going to talk about who's winning tonight. Oh, Jesus. And it would just light up with text. I'm like,
yeah,
wow, people, let me at least hate on somebody before you text me. And, and since I'm a centrist, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I don't mind hating on either side or any side for that matter. Oh, it was fun. But what was hardest is we did 18 months. We did the polls, an hour and a half of every night. The show was 4 hours long. The last hour and a half of every night we did the polls for 18 months straight. It was exciting and boring at the same time. Yeah. But if we didn't do it, people got upset. Literally they got upset. Well, why aren't you doing the polls? And then like 538, we were using all the agents because altogether there's like 80 polling companies we used, but it was through 4 brands. And for some reason, when Camilla took over for Joe, 538, all the people they used for polling, they fired and hired all new companies. I was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, wait, you can't cheat. They're either going to win or they're not. Just because you got people that say they're going to win don't mean they're going to win. It was too much. It was too funny. But there was a lot of funniness in this last election center. Whether you're happy or you hate her, you have to say it was an insane first 8 months, and then 3 months. It was just insanity. Jeffrey, what do you mean? No, April did the artwork. That's what I was showing when we had the books up. When Max, that's the artwork for the story she did. Yes, and you can get it. Look, where did I do it? I just had it. Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
you can get it. It's easy to get. You can go right over to writersoffuture.com, buy it, but you can get it on Amazon and Books and Million and other places like that. Why am I here? Sounds.
It's volume 39 because there's 40 out there, so it's 39 specifically on that one there.
And Marianne, what page does your story begin on?
My story begins on, I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to find the beginning. 49. Oh, 49.
Well, you up in the front, yeah. Well, I noticed when I went to look for the artwork, it was way close up in the front. Yeah, right next to Death and a Tax Man.
And I remember proofreading that. Was like, it was such a fun story to proofread, and then I mean, the two pieces of art there, they're opposite each other, the Death and Taxman and yours. They're just such amazing pieces.
I felt that was such a nice
right?
juxtaposition to have my story next to David's story, because he's very funny and I use a lot of humor. I think we both take sort of a light, and I think both of us are writing stories about death that had to do with that had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and we've stayed, we've stayed mostly Facebook friends, but friends. I think we've stayed friends, and I have loved where his career is going. And
me too.
And he's something about him is he's just a supportive and energetic person to have in your writing community. Like he's doing well, but he's the kind of person who wants everyone to do well.
Yeah.
And I really like that about him. And so I liked having our stories next to each other. And a few of us have tried to stay in touch.
Good.
You know, one of the things I liked about the Winners at Writers of the Future, they don't seem to be all, I don't want to say greedy because that's not the right word, but they all seem to get along pretty well. I was one of the things I was surprised about, because, you know, usually egos can easily bump into each other. And, you know, there has to be egos there to do the art or to do the writing. And sometimes, but you know what, I really haven't seen any of that. And everyone seemed to, I had people paired off and grouped up, you know, which it's always going to happen with groups of people. But everybody seemed to get along quite well. I was really surprised. You know, even though I was picking on Tom the whole time, telling you to watch out, April's going to get you a job.
Well, that might be true.
Yeah, well, April, you became BFFs with Bob Eggleton because you were there. Like, he'd do sketches and you'd be coloring in different stuff there when you guys were chatting back and forth. So, like, you've definitely become good friends with him, from what it seems like.
Yeah. I actually now I weekly chat with Larry, Bob, Echo, and my friend Dave, and we have a nice little check-in group chat once a week and just talk about what we're working on and our projects. So sometimes they'll work and we'll work together and just, you know, hang out. And so I was so excited to draw with Bob. That was amazing. I really hope Larry comes this year, but I don't know if he will.
He said he was going to. I gotta start getting him on the bandwagon. I got Scott Cards coming again, which is good.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I got to call Larry about something. Damn.
Yeah. So Larry said he's going to come because he didn't come last year. He says, no, I'll come next year.
Oh, he's great to hang out with. He's got more freaking energy than I do. I was like, dude, when he decided we're going to go walk down to Arthur Service, said, you're kidding me, right? You said, you know how far away that is? He's like, yes. I said, well, I'm coming. So I can't let your ass outwalk me, man. I mean, come on, you're ancient. And him and I had lots of fun, but I sat there one night. The first night I ever met the guy, I sat there. It was me and Tom and one of the winners, and he just talked nonstop for
he's just amazing
hours,
how much he
5
can talk.
hours.
So many stories.
And usually I'd have to interject, but he was just fascinating. And then then him and I got together somewhere else, and we were talking, and we were at lunch, and I forgot who it was. One of the judges kept trying to interject. I said, "You can hang it up, buddy. It's not going to happen." I said, "It's not." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "If I can't get a word in, you're definitely not going to get one in."
And he's so funny. He says, "Well, what do they want to hear me for? What do I got? I'm just an old artist, you know. I'm just
a fabulous artist,
an old guy here." And then then you turn him, you switch him on, and then he's just like, he's off to the races, you know, Mister. I don't have anything to say. Nobody wants to hear me.
That's what Dan was drinking. He said, "Well," because Larry looked at him, he said, well, "If I can drink, you can drink, man." I was like, "What the hell am I getting out of this conversation?" Oh man, they are. I mean, all the judges are really nice. Everybody's. It's a good group of people. If you're going to be a winner, it's a good place to be a winner because everybody seems to be respectful and nice, and generally concerned that you actually leave learning something.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're just there to do a job. And you know, I've been to other places. I still go to other places, and a lot of times I get the feeling that the judges are there because they're being paid, and you know, they're going to do their thing, but you know, they're not really accessible. These guys want you to bother them, which amazes me.
They're not being paid.
No, and they want you to bother them. That's what. Yeah. Because I'm sitting there. Who was it with Kevin J and Dean last year, and he's telling me about his friend in Rush, and these guys, you know, you could tell they wanted to come get into this conversation. You know, there was 4 of them standing over there, and I was laughing. And
Oh, you're
You
muted.
just lost your mic.
Your voice. Your voice is off.
Yeah, Joe, you're muted, Joe.
Oh, I think I did that with my called.
Up, and you did it again.
You did it again.
You had it on.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, what the hell? All right, it's working. Is it making any weird noise?
Yeah. Now you're.
I thought I heard something clicking.
Yeah. Now you're muted again. So anyway, speaking of getting your art and your books from Marianne Xenos and April Solomon. So again, it's April Solomon artist, right?
Yes, April Solomon Art.
AprilSolomonArt.com. And then if you want her to do a commission, just tell them John referenced you so I can get my 10% commission on this thing here. And I'll build it up so I can get a painting from her with, I'll send her a picture of Emily so she can do a painting with Emily as a mermaid or something like that, or the dragon lady.
He's so great.
April's already the dragon lady. But anyway, and then Marianne, she's got the 2 books you just showed there, where do they buy them?
Well, I put my website in the chat. So I'm at www.mariannezenos.com. And on my website, I have a publications page where you can order any of my publications, including Writers of the Future, but also the one, I have a link to Demagogue Press where you can get the Winding Paths book. But actually, all of these books are on Amazon also, if you want to take the easy approach.
Okay, so Amazon, they can find it too. You just type in Marianne Xenos, and then the anthologies that you're part of will be there.
I have an Amazon page now.
Oh, good. Because
I figured I should.
And you're the real deal. Wow.
Yeah, so you can go there and you can get them. I have other. Here's the thing: since Writers of the Future, I've published. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
If you go to the publications page, you see it. But when I won Writers of the Future, I had published 1 story already, I think, maybe just 1. And since then, I've published 15 more. So there they are, my publications. And some of them you can read online. Some of them you can purchase. Of course, all the anthologies, which are down towards the bottom, those are all to purchase. In the first anthology I was in,
Moonlight and Funk. There we are with the story in Writers of the Future Volume 39, illustrated by
I didn't put illustrated
April
by
Solomon.
Yes, definitely. And my awards.
Yeah, girl.
I was a finalist this year for the Speculative Literature Foundation.
Oh,
but I figured I wasn't discouraged because I felt like I was a finalist for Writers of the Future before I won it. So there's nothing wrong with being a finalist.
That's a fact.
I
mean, even honorable mention is the top 10% of people out there. Then finalists is like the top 1% or even less. So that's definitely kudos to you.
And I've sold every story that I got a certificate from. So the story that was a finalist and my story that was my honorable mentions, I've sold all those stories. So they all found good homes. That's my cat, by the way, my cat with the book.
Yes. Is this, I was going to say, is this a friend here?
Yeah, this is my cat.
So I'm going to be a famous cat now.
Yeah, she is a famous cat. Because I figure you want to sell books, you need to include your cat.
That's right. Cats are cool, man.
Yes.
Well, that's definitely Jody's philosophy.
Cats are cool. I've owned cats. I've owned dogs. Currently, I've got noisy chihuahuas, but they think they're burglar alarms. They will bark at anything. But yet, last night, a bat got into my house. Neither one of the little idiots seen it. I'm thinking. I'm looking at it sitting on the top of the ceiling. I got these 12-foot ceilings, and I'm like, is that what I think it is? I said, it's not a cockroach because it's too cold. I said, what is it? And I got the broom and hit it. It started flying. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I want to kill the little thing. I would feel bad if I killed it. So I had to catch it and put it outside. And I was like, this is ridiculous. It's in my house. I don't know how I got in either. That was the weird part. I'm not even sure where it came from, but it was definitely in the house. Where was I at? I was losing those back on your pages. That's what I was doing. What we got here. It's so everybody's gonna be busy this year. I mean, you've been pretty busy since last time you was at Writers of the Future. I'm runners up drives me crazy.
What drives you crazy?
Being a runner-up drives me crazy. John will tell you, because like we get put up mostly every year for awards for this on the network for different shows. Now the network's won best local network 4 years out of the last 6. It's won national broadcaster. It's won quite a few awards, but the problem is we're not winning, and we always get runner-up, and it just makes me. I'm like, look, people. He's like, but just like second place. After 4 or 5 runners-up, I'm ready for something.
Hey, Joe, I just want to encourage you, because I feel like, really, I was joking that I was going to paper my bathroom with certificates from Writers of the Future, because I had all these honorable mentions, and I was a finalist. And being a finalist is very exciting because they call you on the phone. You get to talk to, it was very, very exciting. So I said, this is the last time I'm applying to this contest. And that was the year I won. But I feel like you have to be a finalist. You have to be
if you're going to get serious.
You have to be an honorable mention. You have to keep doing the work before you finally win. So I just want to say, keep it up. I just want to encourage you.
We'll be in it again this year. This year I'll probably have I'll probably have 4 shows in it this year, but and John will have his in it, so we'll probably have 5 shows in it this year. And
this thing you're coming up on is I did this thing called Dragon Moon Dreaming, which I did a reading with Nina Kariki Hoffman. There's a video online to see us reading together. We each read our short stories. And as you know, Nina is one of the judges of Writers of the Future. She's also she's been my writing mentor.
No, she's a definite sweetheart.
So I'm just staring as I'm going by.
This was a great publication, Orion's Belt magazine. For every story, they put in a picture of a nebula.
Yeah, there's some beautiful nebulas out there too.
Yeah, so this was my personal nebula when they put my story in.
Yes, I've got one named after me. I got I got a nebula named. I got a star named after me too.
Cool.
Somebody when I was very young. We're not going to mention her name because she might get a swole head. Decided that we needed to have stars named after us. So it's like what? And while she was doing it, she said, "Oh, look, you can get a nebula named after you." I'm like, "What?" And I said, "Well, I'd rather have that than a damn star." I said, then somebody may come move on my star one day. I don't want no people living there. And it's not even that expensive. That's what's so funny about it. I guess because there's so many of them.
I mean, that's
I recognize
getting
this.
a star named after you is like, okay, I mean, you could set up a company that does that, Joe. It's like, really?
I know. There's just so many of them.
That's so Earth mentality. Here we're naming a
hey,
star.
Look, when I come back in my 3rd or 4th life from now, I'm going to move there and say, this is mine. I'm Emperor Joe, people. This was named after me. This is how it's going to be. I'm going to be Elon Jr. I'm telling y'all, Elon scares me. He makes me think he's that guy Drox from Moonraker. Yeah. He just look at that fine award.
Wow, that's a nice shot.
Award. Look at that. That's a good one there.
I think if you go down one more, you get to see April's illustration.
Yes, we go.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful piece of art.
Hey, if there's a minute.
Yeah, we got time. Good.
Something I've never told in this forum is sort of my personal story, part of it about writing. And I don't know if that would be appropriate, but there is part of it that I'd want to tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so look, in 2017, I got deathly ill. I got seriously ill. I was in a coma for a month. I was on a ventilator for 6 weeks, and I was in the hospital for 8 months. And I was told that I would never talk again. My daughter was told I would never talk again. So as I was recovering, I started to talk again, and my imagination came back full force, and I was getting better. And I had a speech therapist who said to me, I had a physical therapist, a speech therapist. The speech therapist said, "Why don't you take a writing class instead of coming and seeing me?" She says, "I think you should take a writing class. You have so many ideas in your head." And by then I had to teach, had taught myself to type again, all of those things had happened. So guess who my writing teacher was? So I went straight from physical therapy and I found Nina Kariki Hoffman as my my writing teacher, who is one of the judges of Writers of the Future and who's probably the most imaginative person I know in my life, and also a really, really good writing teacher.
And she survived a serious situation as well.
She did. And so in a way, I was coming into her, and I'm going to be really honest about this. I had brain damage. I had speech damage. I suffered a stroke. And she just was able to just like, this was the first story I published, was called Angels in the Square. No, it wasn't. I think that was the second story I published. But that sort of like just gave me this order so that as my brain was healing, I started being able to write fantasy stories. And she was the perfect teacher for me, and we're still friends. Yeah. And so that sort of was, I think I started working with her in 2001. And in 2002, I won Writers of the Future. So it was a very
22.
I was into 22.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the fourth quarter, right, of 22.
Yeah.
And I think I started midway in 21, starting to work with her. So, so I just wanted to share that part of my story because
that's great. Thank you.
I liked what Joe was saying earlier too about that it's not a cutthroat kind of group of people, that I've never felt anybody try to take someone else down in order to make themselves feel better. And so for me, like as a new writer who was coming out of sort of a very difficult thing, it was just like nothing but positiveness, nothing but
it is. It's very strange. It really is very strange. Well, I mean, look, I go to a lot of things. I get invited to a lot of places because I got a really big mouth and people know that. And sometimes I'll go places and everybody's getting along, but there's always somebody, some egomaniac or somebody that's got to do something crazy. And a friend of mine said, what's all these guys? I said, no, not anymore. It's 50-50, man. I said, you just don't know who it is. Somebody will say, oh, well, you're taking up too much time speaking it, because they actually have something to say where everybody else is just sitting there. It's just weird, but I don't see any of that at Writers. I don't even know why. It just doesn't seem to be there. And like, we started last year interviewing everybody ahead of time and then interview them again while we're there. So they're doubling up. Plus we usually get an interview after. So everybody's getting at least 3 interviews with us and at least 2 or 3 with John. So it's a lot of publicity. And the worst this show's done in weeks is 2,000,002, 2,000,001. It's now out of that, probably 300, 400,000, maybe 500,000 is US, and the rest is spread around the planet. But still, it's a nice audience, and they're here just to listen to authors or illustrators. That's it. Mm-hmm. They're not here for any other reason. The title says it all. They don't come here for any other reason. Matter of fact, just a little while ago, someone stopped in, Donna Frost, and said, started asking questions, said, wrong show, that's on at 7. Like, those questions are not appropriate for this show. Because, I mean, we talk about a lot of things, and, since I'm a near now science fiction fan, we get in a lot of discussions like that. But it's funny how much of some of these judges' books get brought up on our different shows by other hosts of ours. They'll start talking about them, so a lot of our hosts are very well read, not all of them, but more than half are very well read. And they like to read, and even they bring on different authors for different things. But Saturday is really just designed for y'all to come on and kick some people around and stuff. Smack April and stuff, just weird, strange stuff. It's but if you, either one of y'all, if you ever get bored and you're up, find yourself up at 7:00 at night, and you just want to get into a conversation, come join us. Like I said, tonight it's going to be about the Kennedy documents, and not just the Kennedy. It's going to be JFK, RFK, and 2 other people besides that. So God knows where this is going to go.
You can do MLK as well, or is that being?
No. We're going to we're taking 3 hours tonight, so we're going to tackle as much as we can, and it'll probably get rescheduled for the news on the flip side in the near future, so we can get more in depth with it. But it is really, because it's out, and all the hosts are bugging me. Let's talk about it.
That one video of JFK of the driver taking the gun and shooting, it was like, wow, that's been suppressed all those years.
It's just, there's so much that's going on that needs to be released. So we'll see. And somebody asked me, a good friend of mine asked me the other day, are we going to be doomed or not? I said, well, I guess we're going to find out over the next 4 years, aren't we? I said, because I'm not taking any bets on this. I said, I feel good about some things and I'm scared about others. I said, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it's part of living in the United States, you know. Somebody's always going to be unhappy about somebody in office.
That's why something to chill you out. They'll just get a painting from April Solomon and just go and look at it every now and then, just to get yourself all nice and like getting like, okay, good. Life is beautiful. And then
it's weird for me because
there you go.
It's weird for me because most of my creative friends are liberals, and most of the people I know in podcasting are conservatives, and I'm like, oh my God, y'all gonna all drive me to drink, and I can see it coming. It's a lot of fun though. It's always fun to talk about. But now, like I said, now we're out of those modes. No more of that. We're just into regular news and on the chat, just whatever we feel like talking about. It has nothing to do with politics. We leave it out, and we don't invite people on that show if there was going to be politics involved, because we recommend that people like y'all never talk politics. Always, we recommend it. Mm-hmm. It's too dangerous to someone's. It's not for mine because, like I said, I'm a centrist, so I can get away with hating on both sides. But for normal, everyday people making a living, you don't want people to choose sides. You want people just to love you for who you are and not to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
It's the best way to be. I mean,
outside issues.
Yeah, it's just because it's fun. I mean, both of y'all are talented. You don't want to be throwing no wrenches in there, even though some of us can't learn. I'm not going to mention no names, but it's some of us are. I can't ever shut up. So it's just one of them things. If a politician does something, I don't care who he is, or voted for him or not voted for him, I'm calling him out. I said, no way, we're not going to have this. And it's funny. But a lot of people over at CNN and NBC and even at Fox listen to us on Friday night. And I got a lot of friends at work over there, and a lot of the hosts listen to us because we can do things that they can't, especially we can curse, which they can't. And Friday night, let's just say some of the badder words are allowed to be used and leave it at that. Because for some reason, that particular show, people really like it. I'm not sure why. And it does really well. And it does allow you to get out there. If you have a problem with something that's going on in the country, it gives you a venue. I mean, it's 4 million listeners right now. For the election cast, we did 5.5 million, which was bigger than ABC, NBC, and CBS. We actually had a larger audience than they did, and calling the election that night. And the network has liberals, conservatives, centrists, libertarians, independents, you name it. We're not pigeonholed. We like everybody. We love you regardless of your religion or your politics. We still love you. It's a lot more fun that way. Jimmy, we get ready to go. Marianne, what's the best way to get hold to you, baby? Marianne, what's the best way to get hold to you?
The best way to get hold of me is through my website. I have a contact page on my website. So if you go to www.mariannezenos.com, you can find the contact page, and the email come directly to me.
They say anybody with an X in their name is an alien, right? Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I just I didn't want to tell you that. I just saying.
I was adopted at a very young age from out of that.
That's one reason y'all fruit, because they say anybody who draws dragons is also an alien. So,
and you know what? It is a pen name, but it's an alien pen name.
It's a good one though. I like it. I think it works real well. I think it's a good pen name.
Hide in plain sight. No one's gonna ever know.
That's right. Best way to always be too. Leave it where everybody can see it, and they'll never find it. It's part of this.
And then Dragon Lady, give us how we reach you too as well.
Yeah, I did.
Queen of the Dragons.
I posted a link in the chat. It's to my link tree, and that leads you to all my social media platforms. But my main website is www.aprilsolomonart.com.
I like the way you did this. This is very nice.
Thank you.
Let me save this somewhere so I remember to post it. Where put it in bookmarks. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure I have it somewhere, so when I go looking for it, I know where it's at. Or I'll start cussing and stuff.
Be sure to let us know if you have any problems with getting a table at the at DragonCon.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, we definitely count on seeing you. If not, then we're gonna give a lot of grief to DragonCon if we don't see you there. So let's just save us a lot of bad effort there.
Thank you.
John said he was taking us all out for daiquiris.
Don't accept me.
Sorry, I cut you off.
You don't even drink daiquiris.
I drink everything when I drink. I just don't drink that often.
Drink.
I do sometimes. It's rare, but actually, to be honest, in the last 7 years, the only time I've drank is when I was with y'all. And last year I didn't drink at all. I didn't even have any.
You didn't drink last year when you were with us.
it's just weird. I went 10 years without even having a drink. A friend of mine's like, "What did you quit?" I said, "No, I don't know, just doesn't want any." I don't know. Every now and then I get like that. It's, and I'm not anti-liquor or anything. I mean, my family owns all kind of bars and stuff. It's just, every now and then I just don't want to drink.
Yeah.
It's,
I
that's because
that.
I got an ungodly weird tolerance for alcohol. That's probably why. Normal people, 5 drinks, they're drunk. Shit, 25 drinks. I'm saying we're going to go get some more now. What's up? It's, I mean, I hold 4 records here.
That's fine that you can tell everybody that you're a lush and can survive it and all that kind of stuff there. But
I'm old now. I can get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we got 2 lovely ladies right now that we need to say sayonara to.
Yes, we got to get out of here. We got to get. So y'all too.
It's really nice seeing both of you, all of you, and April. Kisses to you. Bye, both of you. Joe, thank you as always for hosting. This is.
I always have fun. You're always great.
Okay.
And anytime you get anything. For both of y'all, anytime y'all get anything new or something big or something you just want to get out there, just, you can always contact me personally at iCarCocksnap. Carmen gets hold to me way easier than anybody else does.
Yeah.
So you can just this one thing real quick. I am working on a collection, so I will send you information as soon as it
or send it to Carmen when you're all ready, and he'll get you set up.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And in April.
Yeah, and I'll definitely reach out to you guys because I do have a lot of things coming up, and I could certainly use the promotion. But I really love seeing you all, and Marianne, you're just so dear to my heart, and I can't wait to meet you.
I know we will meet. We will.
Yep.
And if you need to, I'll send you some videos of Bob Eggleton so you can work on that hair toss a little bit better. There you go.
I think she got it down just fine.
I'm gonna have to grow mine out so I can do that.
Okay, good.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so
Very
much.
nice seeing you both.
Bye.
Where's the door? Oh, I got it.
Anyway, we're gonna, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Author's Quill. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, like I say every week, he moans, groans, bitches, or cripes. Please write to Michelle DeRoche because I don't give a crap. So you write to Michelle DeRoche, she'll answer you. She'll be polite. She'll be nice. You write to me, not so much. So please write to Michelle DeRoche. She is the boss. On that note, if you want to join us, we'll be on the chat in about 55 minutes, myself and 4 or 5 other hosts. God knows what kind of trouble we're going to get into. You heard what the topic line is going to be, so be sure to tune into that. And until next week, have some fun. Enjoy your life, people. Remember, life is only this long. Good night, everybody.
Good night.